Have you ever had an experience in which you react as if your partner has done something wrong, but you can't quite put your finger on what it is that they did? Something inside you, though, reacts like they're up to no good, and perhaps you get cranky, you pick a fight, or you just withdraw. If this sounds familiar and you don't understand why, maybe it's because a ghost of a past relationship decided to haunt your evening. Ghosts like this can totally destroy your relationship thanks to relationship anxiety and the 10 rules it forces you to follow. My name is Oliver and I'm a psychotherapist, and I love helping people overcome their anxiety to grow great relationships, and this is my video series on relationship anxiety. Let's imagine it's an innocent Tuesday evening, the kitchen still smells faintly of garlic from dinner, and you're on the sofa half watching the new Netflix series that you're binge watching, but you notice your partner on their phone.
Who are you texting?
Oh, it's just a friend.
And everything changes. The air gets colder, the warmth in their smile now looks like a cover, and the look they gave you is definitely a sign of them dodging something. And that voice in your head whispers, "Here we go again. This is just like last time." And then suddenly you're back in a different apartment. It's 5 years ago, 10 years ago. You're sitting on the edge of a bed reading a message on your partner's phone that you really weren't supposed to see. Or perhaps you're back at the kitchen table in your parents' house and you're 10, overhearing a conversation that you didn't understand then, but you know what it was about now. So coming back to the present moment, you're with your partner, but you're also with another person, someone who's hurt you, betrayed you, and the ghost of that relationship has just shifted everything. If you're not careful, this type of haunting turns a love story into a tragedy. But it is not your fault. You are unwittingly following the 10 rules of anxiety. And when it comes to relationship anxiety, these are the rules you need to know, because when you know the rules, you can start breaking them. If you want more help identifying the rules of relationship anxiety and more tips to grow a healthier, anxiety-free relationship, you can either take the Rules of Anxiety quiz or sign up for my newsletter. All of the links are in the bio somewhere. Let me back up a bit and tell you that anxiety has a goal, and that is to keep you small, safe, and separate, which sounds very helpful, but clearly it is not in line with the goal of you being in a nice, warm, loving relationship. Anxiety is so desperate to keep us safe, it establishes these rules that it has tricked you into following.
It's mostly boilerplate. Signing it is just a formality.
This particular rule of relationship anxiety is called the ghost of relationships past. And this one is very devious, as it rushes in to rerun scripts and memories from the past whenever it detects the faintest familiarity of a past relationship. The irony here is that the anxiety system that is meant to protect you can end up causing even more heartache by fueling our preemptive suspicions of what's going on. To really understand this though, let's go even further back in time. Anxiety's job is to be on the lookout for danger. It's one of our oldest inheritances that helped us survive as a species.
I think I see some danger. Yep, those tigers look ravenous.
The anxious hunter-gatherer ancestors we had who ran when they heard the rustle in the grass did not get mauled by saber-toothed tigers, and they survived to pass on their genes. We're all quite literally descended from anxious, fear-based Neanderthals. But fast forward to today, our primitive brain has the same wiring, and it's not particularly picky about the type of threat that it guards us against. Because there's no saber-toothed tigers, or at least not in West Hollywood where I am, a delayed text from a partner can ring the same alarm bells as the sound of a predator moving in the dark. It's still scanning the horizon for danger, but it's switched to focus on emotional danger. So a tone of voice, a hesitation, or a pattern of behavior vaguely reminiscent of someone who once hurt you can set your heart racing and trigger the same anxious responses. Our anxiety is wired to sound the alarm, and it's exceptionally good at recognizing patterns, but not so good at interpreting those same patterns. What makes this rule of anxiety so challenging to dispute is that it's not entirely irrational. It doesn't argue in abstract fears like being struck by lightning or eaten by a dinosaur. It argues from history. And history, even partial history, is really hard to dismiss. Anxiety arrives with what feels like an airtight case file from your evidence files from the past. Remember when your parent did that? Oh, that's just like your ex used to do right before they disappeared on you. So when you spot your partner smirking as they reply to a text message, your anxiety convinces you that this is it, this is happening again, time for us to retreat or fight or freeze. So this is a cognitive distortion of sorts, right? It's similar to confirmation bias, but anxiety makes it feel like it's a hotshot prosecutor who is adamant that they are right and want that conviction. We totally forget years of loyalty, the countless acts of love and care, and remember instead the handful of times that trust was broken, maybe in this relationship, but definitely in others, and we stop seeing our current partner at all. So we've got a selective perception issue going on, but as if that wasn't enough, neuroscience is telling us something even more disconcerting, that memory is not a recording, it's a reconstruction. So each time we retrieve a memory, we edit it, recreate it, and make mistakes, often without knowing. So over years, this means our recollections of betrayal can become sharper, colder, more deliberate, but they could also get more faulty. We might remember someone's absence as more pointed, their neglect as more calculated. So in this way, the ghost isn't just replaying the past, it's remastering it, editing it, and making it the director's cut and adding more gory horror movie scenes. We end up haunted not only by what happened, but an upgraded, exaggerated version of it, one that we mistake for the original. So in relationships, this haunting has predictable and very painful effects. Depending on what past experiences are haunting you, your uncertainty grows and you might even start to demand proof. So you might check their phone when they're in the shower or check in on them more to see if they're really doing what they said they would. But more subtly and more devastatingly, you stop seeing the person you fell in love with and you start looking at them through lenses that distort your view of them entirely. And that undoubtedly is going to have a big impact on your partner, who will no doubt start by reassuring you that they're not doing whatever it is that your anxiety is saying that they're doing. But when they can't make you believe them, it becomes a burden. They could get frustrated, they could become irritable, but more likely they will disconnect, pull back, and retreat. So it becomes this very tragic loop, because that retreat might spark your anxiety to whisper even more convincingly in your ear that this is definitely what happened in the past. This is not a figment of your imagination at all. So what do? Well, the way out of this begins with something that sounds almost absurd, recognizing that the ghost is trying to help. It is part of us that remembers being powerless or hurt and has sworn never to let that happen again. So you might start wanting to address it directly. I see you. I know you're trying to protect me, but this is a different person, a different time, and I'm not that person anymore. The mission is not to silence it completely, but to maybe put it in the audience instead of letting it direct the show. And that is much easier to do when you can recognize that you've been following this rule of anxiety. This is a great first step in changing the game. And the other thing that you can do is to talk about it. Vulnerability here is another risk that anxiety really doesn't want you taking, because that is another threat altogether. It's also another rule of anxiety that I'll get to if you hit follow and subscribe. But if you want more help identifying the rules of relationship anxiety and more tips to grow a healthier, anxiety-free relationship, you can either take the Rules of Anxiety quiz or sign up for my newsletter. All of the links are in the bio somewhere. So in a strange way, when we carry these ghosts from our past into the present, it is actually proof that we're human, that we can be vulnerable, that we've been hurt. They exist because we've risked before, because we've let someone matter to us, and unfortunately we got hurt. But my hope would be that if you can share that with your partner, explain what's going on, you might begin to change your relationship and have a very different experience. This is all an anxiety response, and the opposite of anxiety isn't calm, it's presence, being in the moment, not being stuck in the past or too far in the future. And we can choose to be close to our partner now, even when anxiety and its case file of evidence from the past advises you not to. We can choose to write a scene that doesn't end the way that the old scenes did, and in doing so, we can turn that ghost from being a jailer into a witness. We can be present, but not let it hold the keys anymore. So I would love it if you shared this with someone you know, or hit follow and subscribe to learn more about the rules of relationship anxiety.